Hey, how are you? Catch us if you can.
Here they come again.
Dave Clark 5.
Catch us if you can. Time to get a move on. We were young with all of our might. Catch us if you can. Catch us if you can. Catch us if you can.
Go ahead and try, baby, but we're off.
Catch us if you can.
Yeehaw! The Dave Clark 5, baby.
No more time for fun. When we're getting angry, we were young with all of our might. Catch us if you can. Catch us if you can.
Man, is that fun or what? You know, it's easy to just forget about the freaking story I'm supposed to tell you and just sing that stupid song, but no, I'm going to tell you the stupid story. And where this story picks up, it's called the Mexican Vacation. And we had just finished barely escaping the clutches of the law the night before when we were at Jack in the Box, and I was slapping the guy in the car because I thought he cut in front of us. He didn't cut in front of us, but I was still slapping him, and Ted saved me. And now we're on the next day, and now it's catch us if you can, baby. We're on our way to Mexico.
Catch us if you can. Catch us if you can. Catch us if you can.
We are the best prepared for a vacation that we have ever been on in our lives. At least me. And no, let's just say all of us. It was perfect. Because being a musician in a small little town, not unionized or anything, well, sometimes you had money, and a lot of times you didn't. And if you did have money, a lot of times I would spend it unwisely, and it would soon quickly turn into the other normal zero, broke. Well, that's okay. That's the way life is with me. Musician, you know. You know all those rumors about musicians? They're true. Thank you, lucky stars, if your children haven't become musicians. In some misguided kind of, if they play music, they'll be all right. Sorry, Mom. Sorry, Dad. Thanks for the music, though. So, Ted has arrived at our Santa Rosa little duplex there, and it's time to get going on our vacation to Mexico, baby. And he has got his brand new to him, a Ford van. And, the old kind of vans, like I married my wife, and she had a van, so I had a van. And the thing about vans, this is like the 65 Chevy panel van, I think they call them. And they were quite popular, and they were quite functional. But the thing about driving a van is you're driving, and right up there by your feet, right out there, you can see death coming. There's nothing in front of you. All these Lincoln Cadillacs and all this stuff, when they're in an accident, you get all this trumpelage, and you might just, be okay. Not in a van. There's nothing crumpling in front of you. It comes and it sits on your lap and it sits on your face, and you hope you're dead because you don't want to live the consequences of whatever the heck it is you ran into. And every time I drove that van, I thought about that, but it just never happened. So the old van that we used to drive had the motor in between the two passengers, the driver and the passenger. Not in Ted's van. What they had done in Ted's van is they had taken that motor out of in between, the cockpit there, and they turned it around sideways, and they put it right down there in front where you could see death coming. And it's so clever because, they didn't take up much more room than the headlights that they were, wiring I mean, you'd never know the motor was actually there. And we had to work on it a couple times, and we were able to actually, we were able to actually access places we had to access. Who'd believe it? Thanks. No pause on this recording, so you'll have to forgive these little... So it's the next morning, and Ted has this new camper, and it also has a pop top, and it's so that even monsters like me can stand up inside once you're parked and that top is up. You don't want to drive around with that top up, but it was there, and it had a refrigerator and a stove. It was a camper, baby. And so... since they moved the motor up front, we each had Captain Kirk chairs. You know what I'm saying? The steering wheel didn't shift from, driver to passenger, but both the chairs were the same. And what that meant was, especially to us, there was no motor in the way anymore, so we could get directly back to where the beer was. Because when we started out on this Mexican vacation, this is just the way it was. We had, at least 12 cases of beer because we were not going to allow the possibility that we would have to stop in some freaking LA suburb and say, "Excuse me, is there any freaking place we can buy some overpriced freaking beer?" No, that wasn't going to happen. We had more beer than we could drink, and we were used to, supplying ourselves in such a manner. So, it was all great. There was no problem, and away we went. Now, this vacation that Ted had been on a year before with other people, so he knew the whole layout, and, of course, we'd never been there before. I've never been on any vacation before. I didn't ever, people always talking about vacations. I didn't need a vacation. Give me a couple beers, I'll go to bed and, wake up. Hey, my life was a vacation. So I got a kick out of all these people whining about needing a vacation. But that was before this. Now, the only reason I was roped into this vacation, which I never would have really bothered with, but it was because it was my best friend, Slow Ted, the Tedster, Theodora, the social director of the Monte Rio Social Society at that time. If you drank in the bars, if you wanted to know anything about anybody, you asked Ted because everybody knew Ted. Everybody loved Ted. And the first night in Monterio, I ended up drinking beer with Ted. This is the time when there were a lot of bars in Monterio. That's before, insurance and rednecks and fire departments to sit there and watch it burn. Well, hey, no harm, no foul. You get flood insurance, you get fire insurance, whatever, Hey, as long as there's one bar open, we're doing all right. But no, there was, at this time, there was a lot of bars in Montreal. And this is the first time, had laser surgery. Don't get laser surgery. This is the first time that I had gone out drinking with Ted. Excuse me. This is just after we finally moved back to California, after my father tearing us out of California and ruining my musical career because he was able to become a pilot for United if he moved to fucking Virginia. Oh my God. And finally, after 5 years, my brother and I said, look, sorry, but we're going back to California. Fuck Virginia. And Mom and Dad said, oh, wait a minute. We'll sell the house. We're coming with you. Let's all go together. So we did. And that's how I ended up in Monterey, and that's how I ended up meeting Ted, and that's how we had our first night of drinking together. And like I say, I considered myself a highly professional consumer of alcohol. Because, I drank more than anybody I ever met. But evidently that was kid stuff. Because Ted is actually the person who taught me how to really drink. How'd you like to have that for a moniker? You're the one that taught me how to really drink. Anybody who knows anything about me, well, maybe you'd be proud. Maybe you'd be embarrassed. But considering the source, you'd probably be proud. Yeah, so whatever. Anyway, the story goes, we had about 5 beers together at this one particular lovely bar, which has burnt down. Don't remember the name of it. What does it matter? It burnt down. So we had 5 beers or so, and I slapped Ted on the shoulder, and I said, "All right, buddy, I'm getting a little tired. I'll see you later." And he said, "Whoa, bartender, order a beer." And he grabbed onto me, and he pulled me back in, and he said, "You don't understand. The reason you're tired is because you stopped drinking there. You get me the beer, and he pours it down my throat, and I helpfully inhale it." He says, "As long as you keep drinking, you don't get tired." And if he wasn't right, I did feel better. So I sat back down at that bar, and we happened to drink the whole night through, and the subject of being tired was never brought up again. Now, I have actually never felt like I've had enough sleep, or, it just doesn't work that way. My body doesn't work that way. But as long as I keep drinking, I can feel good. As soon as I stop, I don't feel so good. Hey, what are you going to do? You pays your money and it takes your chances. So at this particular time, this is working out very well for me because my best friend Slow Ted is on his way to Baja, Mexico, and we were good enough friends that I trusted him that if he thought this was a good idea, I bet it probably was, even though I had no interest in vacations and tired of listening to people whine on about them. With Ted, it was different because we were the closest of friends, the best of friends. And if he said that this is going to be fun, then gosh darn it, I believe him. And I talked to you about the monetary financial structure of being a non-union musician in a hideaway town. Well, sometimes you had some money, sometimes you had a lot of money. A lot of times you didn't. Or if you did, I spent it quite quickly, thank you. But at this particular time, Ted wants to go back on this Mexican vacation. And being his best friend, he wants me to go with him. You don't suppose that him knowing that I had a big pocket full of money helped form his choice into who he was? No. We were best drinking buddies for many years before this vacation started. So, but I just happened to have a lot of money. So I was able to you say, yeah, sure, I'll come because I can enjoy myself. I won't be sitting there suffering and begging while everybody else is being able to afford it and have fun. Well, a lot of times you're used to that if you're, like I say, a non-union musician in a hideaway town. Well, there's a lot of days that you don't go to parties because you're not really able to be part of the party because you don't have any freaking money. That's not the case today. The case today, you should excuse the expression, is that I am fully packed in the wallet area. And so is Ted. And there's more to follow. Oh, dry mouth, I mean. Dyslexic and spurred on to artistry, it's just hell. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do what I can. I paid my money, and here's what we get. So, me and my best bud are on the Highway 101 heading south, baby. Down to LA, across the border, down to Mexico. Great. Well, the first bizarre thing about this little vacation is in our little town of Monterio, I mentioned, where, you know, a non-union musician couldn't get any work. We also had a third drinking buddy. Yeah, see, how Ted and I became such close friends for life drinking buddies is, you know, I thought when I met him that I was the drinking king, and then I realized, well, I still had more to learn and more to grow in that area, but I was willing because I felt confident that I would, you know, you show me the way and I'll go ahead and win it for you. And so no matter who we went drinking with, every time, somewhere along the way, they would drop out and go to bed, and we would just, oh, okay, see you. And we would carry on and, you know, for days. That's how we knew we had special inhaling abilities that were rather unique. We knew that because we never did find anybody who would keep up with us drinking. They were always leaving us, you know, early, going to bed. However, our third friend, Ms. Annabee, she had the same birthday as I did, so she latched onto that, and we became close friends ever since that because, you know, we're both stupid enough to have the same birthday. Sorry to drag you down, Annabee. But so anyway, the thing about Annabee, she's this short little, well-endowed, you know, maybe that helps, I don't know. But she could keep up with Ted and I. What? That's right. She might, at the very end, go to bed a half an hour before we do, but she was no slouch. She was a professional drinker. So that's why we were glad to have her on the vacay. Oh, haven't I mentioned that Annabee's coming on the vacay? Yeah, the reason I haven't mentioned it is because she isn't with us yet. It's Ted and I. And all those cases of beer. So it turns out that even though Annabee and her main squeeze husband, Dilly Dave, lived in Monterio with us, and you know, we're broke as all of us. It's a broke hippie town. That's why you're there. You're hiding away, and you don't have to get a real job. You can survive on barely surviving in a town like Monterio. Good, great news. Good choice. I'm good at barely surviving. Oh, God. So the first funny thing about this vacation is, I mentioned Annabee Gears. Well, there was the two of us, and of course I didn't know any of this. Annabee had left Monterio via ocean on a $5 million yacht. And this wasn't something where the captain didn't know you or anything. This was somebody who owned this yacht who knew Annabee and Dilly Dave. But these things happen. So while Ted and I are driving down to Mexico, Annabee and her main squeeze, Dilly Dave, are yachting down. Did I say San Francisco? I meant L.A. So it comes to pass that what is scheduled is that they're going to drop Annabee off with us for our 2-week drinking bout, and they can go on their little yachting journey. And I think that was a good move by Annabee, because who wants to be trapped on a yacht, even, you know, bird in a golden cage? So anyway, what happened was, you know the movie Some Like It Hot, with Jack Lemmon and Marilyn Monroe and Tony Curtis? Well, that San Diego hotel, whatever it's called, that's where we went to meet Annabee to get her off the yacht. And we were only there for a few minutes, and there comes the yacht. And it was so bizarre because I didn't know we were going there. And I didn't know where it was, but there it was right in front of us. And it, that San Diego hotel, if that's what it's called, was one of the main stars in the movie with, Jack Lemmon and Marilyn Monroe and Tony Curtis. They showed that hotel in all the shots they could because it's freaking beautiful, man. And seeing it live and not knowing you're going to see it and you come around the corner and whoop! Oh my God, how beautiful. And then you look out where the boats come and they can temporarily dock in, and here comes this freaking yacht. And here's Annabee'S, hey! And we, shake hands, come on, babe, let's go. And she comes with us, and Dudley Dave and whoever this other person was who had possession of the yacht. I don't know if he owned it, I don't know anything about that, it doesn't matter. There was a yacht, that's all that matters. So they go on there. See, our vacation is a 2-week vacation, 2-week Mexico vacation. So that means since they scheduled to drop off Annabee where they did, and they were right on time. We didn't have to wait around for hours or anything. We were there for like 15 minutes, and here comes this freaking yacht. Now, the way it works on the way back is just the opposite. I don't recall how phone communications were, accomplished at that time between boat and camper. I don't know, but it worked the other way around. We took her back to that San Diego hotel, and here comes this freaking yacht, and she takes the yacht back to Monterrey while we drive back to Monterrey once we're on the other side of this vacation. But that's 2 weeks away, so there's no rush to get to that point right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a little break. We have picked up Annabee'S, our favorite other drinking buddy. She wasn't our girlfriend, she was a friend of ours. So there was no, didn't have to go through this friendship, relationship stuff. Welcome aboard, Annabee. The end of chapter Catch Us If You Can, the Mexico vacation story. See you now. Nice to see you. Take care of yourself. I'll be back.